It's iPhone 12 day here on Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. I'm going to start off the day watching the Keynote here. I had some toast, some orange juice. Peanut's keeping me comfortable. He's very interested in the 12 Pro. I think that's what he's going to get. I'll talk to you more about this in a bit. So after the Apple keynote, I did some work from home. I did a little bit of packing for the upcoming trip, then headed up to the shop where today I had a small list of tasks. Number one is before I leave town, I leave a clean car, not a dirty car. So this is done, which is weird to do it on a Tuesday. Don't take off nearly as much shit, seeing that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday haven't yet happened. Kennan's is over here. I think it's been in here since like Sunday. So I doubt he's gonna wipe it down before we leave. It looks fine. The M3 is out there. It got new cats installed today. They're MagnaFlow carb certified cats that dropped it yesterday. They did them overnight, and then he picked up the car this morning. So hopefully it passes smog now. These things, this is an annoyance. This is off of my M5. So I replaced these cabin airbox intake snorkels in 2014. That's only 6 years ago. And I noticed last time I opened the hood, that's not supposed to be a two-piece. And upon further inspection, this is glued or plastic welded or whatever together. And could I reglue it? Yeah, I could, and I will, and then I'll probably resell it cheap to help pay for the new one. But they're only about 60 to 80 bucks new a piece, depending on your account type and markups. So I just replaced both of them. One of them was in the US, and it was thankfully this side that completely fell apart. So I put that in today. And then the other side is starting to do the same thing, though it's not a two-piece yet. I ordered that one. That one's 3 or 4 weeks out in Germany. But I'll show you what else is dicked under here. This is annoying. Like, this is what's annoying about owning these older BMWs. The plastics just bake, even though this engine doesn't run nearly as hot. Here's the issue here. So around the hood sensor, it's got this little bracket that hangs off, and the hood sensor goes in there, and I have the piece and it fits back in there, but I'm not going to reglue it. I mean, I might reglue it and then sell it cheap, but I replaced this in October 2018. It's only been 2 years. I did the lower box, I did the hood sensor, and I did a fresh set of Mon-Filter cabin filters. So it's really annoying to me that that piece is broken again. However, thankfully, BMW seem to have produced another batch of those. So they're only a little less than 100 bucks per side, which is great. So I have doing them in pairs. Why not? This one's actually original, but this piece down at the bottom has a little crack in it. So whatever, we're doing both of them. We're doing both snorkels. The only piece in right now is that. When I get back from where I'm going next week, we will replace this lower box, and then that snorkel whenever it comes in. And then on Kennan's car, we ordered that firewall trim, which is 200 bucks. It's ridiculous, but that's what's going on under here. This car, we got some coding and programming done yesterday. Can't communicate with DSC, so we'll figure that out more later. Keep putting the battery on a charger. I don't know if that battery is going to survive or not. It doesn't want to hold a charge. Whenever we have any electrical loads on, I put it on a 2 amp or a 20 amp, depending on what I'm doing, but it doesn't hold up. But we're going to try the E90 M3 flywheel clutches and pressure plate, and then I'll replace the throw-out bearing in the transmission with that one, and I am going to use the E60 M5 slave cylinder. I think that makes sense for the pedals, for the pedal kit. Speaking of, that was yesterday. I think I talked about it last night. The most miserable part of this entire conversion is the pedals. I'm going to turn the light on. I'll give you a look up in here. Okay, we're going in. I'm not going all the way in though, because that's where I spent my entire day yesterday, and it just sucks. So you have this spring assembly here with a piece on the bottom, a piece on the top, the spring in the middle, pin on the top, pin on the bottom, and then a circlip. Those are all different parts. This black piece back here is the stop. Now there's no fluid or anything hooked up right now, so when I press the clutch, it'll just go to the floor. And then that's where it taps the housing there, so it doesn't make too much of a noise or feel too hard at the bottom of the pedal. The clutch master cylinder is installed up here. That was about an hour to get both of these pins into place, those black pins that hold it into the pedal housing. And then it sandwiches up into part of the clutch pedal and has a circlip on it and another pin. And then there's a spring. The spring on the left has to be installed, which is a major pain in the ass, and then it goes up and hooks over the top. That spring there is for the brake pedal. And then of course the main clutch pin pivot point is way up in there. It's a big black pin right there with that goo around it. I lubricated it because that's gonna articulate for the next X thousand miles. So that's the clutch pedal installation. It's a miserable, miserable thing, and I'm really, really glad that it's done. Customer has requested I not install a pad on it. I think he's gonna find the one that matches that. So we have our hydraulic line installed here, and then it runs back down behind the carpeting. It runs over through the tunnel, and that's under the car. And then this thing right here, this is the light module 2 for this car, being a, well, it is a pre-LCI, but it has an LM2 somehow. E60 sub is under the seats. We rescued a lot of debris and crap out of here, and then we have this piece installed in the console with the EDC button. I have it in here right now just to minimize errors and kind of help with the coding, so I have that plugged in. I have the menu button plugged in for the nav. I have the CCC iDrive controller plugged in right here. Console's obviously out, IHKA is out. It's got no oil or brake fluid on it, so that's my reminder, so nobody attempts to start it, although of course it won't without a transmission and crank sensor, amongst other things that this car doesn't have right now. Desperately needs hood struts, which are on the way. It's not really safe to work under the hood right now. We're using this box to hold it up, which the box isn't too happy about. DME box is open. We're going to be spending a lot of time in there in the upcoming weeks. And here's the transmission. This is the GS653BZ from an E90 M3. Why isn't this focusing? There we go. And we've done the usual stuff on here. We have a new, I think I showed you all this before. Other than having a flex disc on here, this thing is probably the same as when you saw it before. And it's got this spec throwout bearing in there that I think we're going to replace with the E90 M3 factory one. Hey, it's the 22nd now. I'm catching up on these vlogs, and I'm realizing that the end clip I had for this day, the Apple Keynote day from Tuesday the 12th, somehow got corrupt. It's just a .tmp, like a temporary file in the folder it's supposed to be in. So anyways, my consensus that night was, too bad the clip's gone. It won't be as genuine as it once was, but you know, the iPhone 12 looks like a solid upgrade to me. We get better performance, we get better cameras, we get a new case, we get a new color, we get 5G connectivity, which maybe isn't huge right now, but will be moving into the future. It's exactly what Apple needed to do to the iPhone. And people that have an older one, like older than the 11, it's probably a really solid performance upgrade, seeing that you're coming from 2, 3+ generations ago. If you have an 11 Pro, you know, I pay the tax, the bill stays the same, plus I'm a techie guy still, so I like to do the upgrades. But it's not night and day, but we shouldn't expect it to be. And I think that was the point I hammered home 10 days ago now, is that what are we missing? I always say the same thing, like, oh, the new iPhone's no different. Well, what major features are they lacking these days? Like, what do you need it to do? Make popcorn for you? These things do pretty much everything, and they do it really, really, really well. So, you know, gone are the days of finally adding like landscape support for the Mail app and adding Bluetooth and a better speaker. We already have all that. They should be focusing on better performance, better longevity, stronger glass, which they did with the ceramic coating or whatever they're calling that, and just making it work better. And a lot of these tweaks are going to come in software. And the same thing with iOS updates. They don't add revolutionary new features because there aren't any revolutionary new features to add. Of course, there are some odd little things that Android phones do that iPhones don't yet, maybe will in the future. We'll talk more about the pre-order later. Yeah, of course I pre-ordered one, but that was the Apple event, little HomePod Mini. I don't even remember anything else that was world-beating there. So let me know your thoughts below. Did you watch the keynote? What do you think? Did you order one? Do you still hate iPhones and like your piece of shit Android phone that runs Windows Mobile 2003? Let me know. Talk tomorrow.